What's going on, guys? Victor here with a brand new video. Yes, I'm back from my hiatus. It's been a couple of days since I've been able to post the video, but the UFC is back in action. They took a 1-week break because they did put on 3 fights in 1 week in Abu Dhabi. Those fights were all fantastic, so I'm obviously glad that they're coming back to the US. Sadly, it's going to be in Las Vegas, which means that they're not going to have any fans. It's going to be in the UFC Apex facility, unless they want to travel to other states that do permit fans in stadiums, in arenas, etc. If they want to go to Texas, obviously that's where some of the biggest boxing fights are going down up to date. You had the Canelos, you had the Triple Gs, you had the Ryan Garcias, you had all of them fighting in Texas. In stadiums, not arenas, in stadiums. Yes, they held a good amount of fights in the Alamo Dome if the UFC wanted to do that. I bet they can, but Dana's obviously he's a hesitant man. He's a smart man. He has his own facility. He wants the UFC to be self-sufficient. Them being able to rely on themselves and themselves only. So obviously they're back in Vegas. They're back in the UFC Apex facility, and the fight that will be going down is Allistair Overeem, the Demolition Man, versus Alexander Volkov, obviously the Russian versus the Dutch. This is going to be an interesting matchup because both these men have so much experience. Volkov has 40 fights in his career, and then on the other side you have Allistair Overeem with 65 fights in his mixed martial arts career, plus all the other fights that he had when he was a professional kickboxer. Both these men are high-level boxers, high-level kickboxers, high-level strikers in general. They both have a good amount of knockouts on their record. They do most of their talking, they do most of their action on the feet. Yes, obviously they do not want to know anything about the ground, but lately Allistair Overeem has been hinting at his new style. He's been training with Elevation Fight Team, and it's been doing wonders for his whole entire career. He's training in Elevation, he's training with so many different bodies over in that camp, and one of those bodies that he's training with is Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades happened to be one of the men that knocked him out technically, brutally, which basically opened up a huge gash via ground and pound on him. So obviously he's working with great wrestlers such as Curtis Blades. He's working with other guys in Team Elevation too that have been able to really push him to the max. His cardio has been pushed to the max. He's getting the best training that he's ever been able to get in his whole entire mixed martial arts career. He's not only just staying in Holland anymore, but he's coming to the U.S., he's getting his rounds in, and he's just become a shell of his brand new self, a new shell and not a former shell of his old self. And it's been showing because he's been utilizing a lot of wrestling. He's won his last 2 fights via ground and pound. The last fight that he had was against Augusto Sakai. Augusto Sakai did get a lot of good hits in. Obviously, Augusto Sakai is a elite striker from Brazil, but Alistair was able to turn the tide against him, get it down to the floor, just like he did with Walt Harris. Walt Harris is another guy that he faced that rocked Allistair Overeem, but Allistair Overeem was able to turn the tide, like I just said, take him down, and finished both of those fighters via ground and pound. Now, obviously, that's very key into this matchup with Alexander Volkov. Volkov likes to win his fights via KO or TKO on the feet. The last fight that Alexander Volkov had a lot of trouble with when it came to the wrestling was Curtis Blades. When he was on the feet with Curtis Blades, he was destroying him. But when he was on the ground, he couldn't stop the takedowns. I believe he got taken down at least maybe 8 to 10 times. Obviously, it was a lot of takedowns in that fight. And Volkov had a very hard time getting back up. So obviously the key for Allistair Overeem is going to be to take Alexander Volkov down. If I were Alexander Volkov, I'd be working on my takedown defenses because of how Alistair Overeem has been winning his fights lately via ground and pound because of the wrestling. So obviously, if you're Alistair, you want to take this fight to the ground immediately as fast as possible. If I'm Volkov, obviously I'm going to sprawl. I'm going to get the wizard in there. I'm going to get the crossface. I'm going to work the inward elbows. If he's trying to take me down against the cage, obviously, you're going to get the underhooks in, and you're going to get the overhooks in, and you're going to try everything in your power to try to not get taken down by Allistair Overeem because he is a big body. If you have a big man on top of you like that, it's going to take a very long time for you to get back on your feet. So obviously, Volkov is going to want to utilize his takedown defense and make sure that the fight is on the feet the whole entire time. He's working the combinations, and also working the body. The body is going to be key against Allistair Overeem. Allistair Overeem has a lot of power. And also, the combinations are not the only key. The countering is going to be the key as well for Volkov. Allistair Overeem likes to get into your guard. He likes to get into your personal bubble, your personal space, and try to get that knockout. But if Volkov was able to see his last fight against Francis Ngannou, Francis was able to sneak that uppercut in there really, like I said, he sneaked the uppercut in there sneakily, and that was a counter because because Allistair Overeem was trying to knock out Francis Ngannou with with the right hand and with the left hand. He's trying to knock him out with a 3-4 combination. Both his hands were busy because they were up in the air like this. So Francis was able to utilize that and have one hand guarding his left hand guarding his face, and then the right hand just sneaking in there and boom, flush to the chin, hitting Allistair Overeem right there. So obviously, if I'm Volkov, countering is going to be one of the biggest keys to victory in this fight. If I'm Alistair Overeem, calmness, patient. You gotta be calm, you gotta be patient. If you're just rushing things in there, you're trying to knock out your opponent, you're not calm, you're just doing things as fast as possible, you're leaving openings. Openings are going to be available everywhere for your legs, for your body, especially for that chin. Obviously, we know that Alistair's chin hasn't been able to hold up in a lot of his past fights, but he's been able to change that recently. He's been able to take a good amount of hits and not get knocked out. So that's obviously a changing of the tide right there. But he's going to have to keep his guard up no matter what. If he's throwing some combinations, make sure you always have either the left hand or the right hand guarding yourself at all times. You keep your guard up at all times, especially with Volkov. Protect the body at all times because Volkov, like I said, he likes to go to the body with the front kicks, with the side kicks. Protect your legs. If I'm Overeem, check the kicks, check the calf kicks no matter what, because the calf kicks are always deadly. If you can check 1 or 2 calf kicks, that won't only hurt you a little bit, but also hurt your opponent a lot. It's a changing of the tide, like I keep on saying. It's a reoccurring theme in this video. But if Alistair Overeem can be able to guard himself and pick his shots and basically set up some fake takedown attempts and some jabs, he will be able to set himself up for an actual takedown, get that double leg, dump him into the ground, and maybe get him against the fence Khabib style and really put in the work with that ground and pound. If I'm Volkov, always circling. You want to keep the movement no matter what, because the moment that Alistair Overeem tries to go in for their takedown, he's going to try to go with it 100%. And like I said, if I'm Volkov, you're going to want to keep your balance at all time. Not only just sprawling, not only putting the wizard in. If Alistair Overeem has that single leg and he's raising it up and he's trying to get it on top of his shoulder so he can be able to sweep your other leg with his other leg, then you're going to have to keep hopping and keep your balance and make sure you're kind of hopping towards the fence so you can get your back against the fence. You have a little bit more stability and you can be able to maybe work some shots even though you're working with one leg, but both of your hands are going to be free at the same time. That's a little bit confusing, but I've seen in multiple fights. Some people try going in for the single leg to elevate their opponent's leg on top of their shoulder like this, so both of their hands are busy, but their opponent's arms are still free. They got one leg to work with. And they can either hit him with a couple of hooks, or they can just keep hopping with one leg and try to see if they can keep balance so their opponent decides to stay away from that single leg and just give up on it. So those are just some key factors that both men really need to take into consideration if they want to win this fight. If I'm Overeem, take it to the ground as fast as possible. If I'm Volkov, obviously keep it on the feet, work the combinations, go to the body, go to the legs. I'm talking about body, head, body, head, body, head, body, head, head, body, head, body. Go to the side of the body, hit him in the obliques, take him to the quads. Obviously, get those quad kicks in there, get those oblique kicks in there, get those calf kicks in there everywhere that you can, because Volkov's a very tall individual. I believe he's close to 7 feet, and he's basically the tallest individual next to Stefan Struve in the UFC heavyweight division. But he obviously knows how to utilize his height. He knows how to utilize his reach, and this is going to be a very interesting matchup. Is is Allistair Overeem going to make one last push to go for this UFC title? And if he loses his fight, will he retire? We don't know. But we'll have to see on Saturday, obviously. If you guys want me to talk about the co-main event, which is going to be Frankie Edgar, one of the legends, one of the pioneers of this game, versus Cody Sandhagen, obviously one of the new kids on the block. He's putting in a lot of work. He's putting in a great name for himself. Then let me know, but I already have a video for that, so I'm most likely not going to make another one. You can find that on top of here. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Obviously, it's snowing around the United States on the East Coast, so stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.